My name is Brian Conybeare, Special Advisor to the Governor. You will hear from the Governor in just a few minutes. You will also hear from Congresswoman Nita Lowey, and you will hear from Darrell Waters, Tappan Zee Constructors President. Darrell is going to give us a little update on the progress being made on this amazing project because it is moving forward with great speed. And he will also describe this fantastic crane, the I Lift New York super crane that's coming up to join the project right now. I'd also like to thank a couple of other folks who have joined us today, including Dr. Marcia Gordon, President and CEO of the Westchester Business Council and President of Build the Bridge Now. Al Samuels, President and CEO of the Rockland Business Association. Ross Pepe, the President of the Construction Industry Council of Westchester and the Hudson Valley. Bill Mooney, the CEO of the Westchester County Association, and Marissa Brett, President of the Westchester County Association. Also with us today, Walter Reichert, who is the project manager for Tappan Zee Constructors, Peter Sanderson, who is the project director for the New York State Thruway Authority, Karen Ray, the Governor's Deputy Secretary for Transportation, and Joan McDonald, the New York State Transportation Commissioner. So thank you all for being here. I'd like to turn it over right now to Darrell Waters to tell you a little bit about what you're seeing out here. Darrell?
It is morning, isn't it?
It is still morning?
Morning. We just passed through the main span. The new bridge will set just north of the existing bridge with the span being the same as you see today. The difference is we'll have a cable stayed bridge and not a box truss bridge like this one. We're just beyond 24% complete with the project. We have about 65% of the piling in. We're going vertical over on the Westchester side. You'll see some of the column steel going up for the columns that support the roadway. There's 31 cranes on the job today here in the water. We're just bringing up today the left coast lifter, also known as I Lift New York, and its duty will be to set the steel that we fabricate up in Coymans, Port of Coymans, about 100 miles north of here, in big chunks that span 350 feet each. The crane, last duty was to build the east span of the Oakland Bay Bridge, and the American Bridge Fluor joint venture built that job, just completed it. We were lucky enough to have partners that were able to supply a crane of this magnitude, and its primary function is to build this project on time and on schedule. Excuse me, on budget. Some interesting things to date on the job. We just awarded over $100 million worth of DBE firms on the job to date. We've got, Brian, how many firms did we say at the end of the day we had total Rockland and Westchester County?
Total number of firms, 456 New York firms are working on the project.
So 456 firms, New York firms are working on the project. We have almost 550 craftsmen working here. We'll peak at about 650 working down here next year. Anything else of note, Brian, you want me to cover?
137 Westchester companies, 64 in Rockland.
There you go. 137 Westchester, 64 Rockland. Our hope is by the end of this year to set some steel in the air. You'll be able to start seeing the main span pylons coming out of the foundations towards the end of the year, and we'll be out of the water mostly by the end of the year and be going up. So the progress going forward is going to be a lot easier to see. As opposed to being on the water, you'll be able to see it from the lookouts and outlook that were set up for doing, those types of observation. Our group, Fluor, American Bridge, Granite, and Trailer Brothers, are very, very proud of what we're doing here. This is a big job for New York. It's a big job for our companies. We have a lot of great people working on the job, and I'm proud and honored to lead the group. So with this, I'll turn it over to Congresswoman Nita Lowey. She'd like to have a few words.
Thank you. I am honored to represent the hardworking people of Rockland and Westchester County. And I must say, I've been in the Congress for over 25 years, and 20 of those years I attended more meetings with many of the people who are here today, talking about whether there would be a tunnel, whether there would be a bridge, but not until Governor Cuomo did we have a decision that was made. And that's why this project is going forward. This is absolutely essential for the economy of both Rockland and Westchester County. And by the way, we save at least $1 million a year fixing that bridge for the last 25 years. Now we're going to see those who commute back and forth benefit from a bridge with less traffic, more people, but less traffic that holds them up. We're going to see tourists go back and forth from Westchester to Rockland. People from New York City come up to Westchester, come up to Rockland, enjoy the sights. This bridge will make an incredible difference. And I want to make it very, very clear. The governor is focused. Nita Lowey is focused on keeping this toll as low as possible, because we understand, again, that for the economy of Westchester and Rockland to prosper, for those people who commute to go to work, for those people who are tourists or people who just shop in Rockland and Westchester County, we understand, the governor understands, I understand, we have to keep that toll low. So I'm very, very excited as we cross this Hudson River. We are so privileged to have this beautiful, beautiful river in our community. And this bridge will enable more people to come visit with us, shop with us, travel with us. And I want to congratulate the governor again for making a decision. This is happening and we can't wait. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much. First to Congresswoman Nita Lowey. She was a little too kind in her praise. The truth is this bridge wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for the help of a lot of people. But at the top of the list is the Congresswoman herself. Her ability to get financing from the federal government really made it possible. And let's give her a round of applause and thank her for her great work. And it wasn't easy. She worked very long and hard to make it happen. Also, the groups on both sides of the river who organized and reached out to the local community, Mr. Mooney, who is with us today, Marsha Gordon, Al Samuels, Ross Pepe, thank you very much for what you've done. Let's give them a round of applause. You know, as the Congresswoman said, this was a story that never ended. It was a 20-year story that just went from governor to governor and politician to politician, and everyone got up and said, we have to replace the bridge. The bridge is dangerous. It costs too much to fix the bridge. We need a new bridge. Except it never happened. And it was just year after year after year. I remember listening to governors proclaim how dangerous the bridge was, and then driving over the bridge and looking outside the window at these metal plates that were covering holes in the bridge, and kept saying to myself, if it was so dangerous, then why don't they replace the bridge already? And to me, it became a metaphor for the dysfunction of government, that somehow it just couldn't get there. The government didn't work, the politics didn't allow it to work. And that's not what New York is about. I mean, you look at New York, we were about building the first, building the biggest, building the best, building it faster than anyone else. And then we just got stuck in the quagmire on the Tappan Zee Bridge, and we couldn't move forward. And it was dangerous, and it was very, very expensive, because we kept patching the bridge rather than replacing the bridge. The bridge was far outlived its useful life, but government just couldn't make it happen. And then a few years ago, we made up our mind. We said enough is enough. We're going to make the government work. We're going to bring people together. We're going to figure out the disagreements and work it out and move forward and break the gridlock on the Tappan Zee Bridge. And we did. And we came up with the best design, the best structure. And then we totally changed the way that government builds. And we've learned a very important lesson here that we're going to replicate in government across the board. And it's called design build. But what we did here was we put out the entire project to the private sector for bid. Rather than the government designing the project and doing the drawings and then putting out the drawings and contractors bid on the drawings, we just put out the whole project and we said to the contractors, you come up with the most creative ways to do it and see if we can save some money. We saved a lot of money. We thought the bridge was going to cost between $5.5 billion and $6 billion. The estimate for the bridge now is actually under $4 billion. So it came in much, much lower than we anticipated, which normally doesn't happen in government. In government, it's normally the reverse, right? It's always over budget. This actually came in lower than we estimated. The project at this point, as you heard from Mr. Waters, is on time and it is on budget, which makes me very, very happy. And one of the reasons why the bridge came in at a lower cost was there was a contractor who happened to have an advantage that no other contractor had, which is probably the largest crane in the world. And this crane was of such a size and magnitude that it could greatly reduce the time and cost of construction. We had never heard of it. We didn't know it existed. But bidding the project the way we did opened it up, and this contractor came forward with this crane. I've never had a deep emotional connection to a crane before, but I want you to know that I truly am in love with this crane. Any crane that saves the state of New York over $1 billion, I love. So they call it the I Lift New York crane. I call it the I Love New York crane. And every New Yorker should be in love with this crane because it is a special piece of equipment and it's going to save us a lot of money. It's a project that's long overdue, but I'm an optimist and I look at it the other way. For people who have lost faith in New York, for people who think we can't get things done, New Yorkers haven't lost their creativity, they haven't lost their energy, they haven't lost their combativeness and their competitiveness, and that's what this project is all about. It also says that yes, people can have differences, but if we do it right, we can bring people together. And Congresswoman Nita Lowey somehow got that Congress to work. I don't know how she did it, what magic spell she had, but she got the federal government to listen to New York's needs and provide a loan. Al Samuels, Mr. Mooney, Ross Pepe, Marsha Gordon got Westchester and Rockland to cooperate, both sides of the river. And we're going forward, and we're going forward better than we even expected. So I want to thank the entire team that has been working on this. Brian Connie-Bear has done an extraordinary job, and his team on both sides of the river. And once again, thank Tappan Zee contractors who've been doing an extraordinary job on a very sensitive project. They just are not building a bridge. They're building a bridge in one of the most environmentally sensitive areas on the globe. And we are very protective of the Hudson River, and we're very protective of the environment. And they are undergoing all sorts of precautions to build this bridge, build it cheaply, but build it in a way that also protects the environment. And they're doing an extraordinary job, so we want to thank them. And thank you all very much for taking the time to come out today and welcome the crane to New York. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor. And as you can see, the crane has now arrived. You guys can get more video if you need it, certainly. One of the things about this crane that speeds up construction is it allows Tappan Zee constructors to pre-create giant sections of this bridge off-site, then barge them in and lift them into place. It's a safer, more efficient, faster and less expensive way to build a bridge. It also reduced the amount of dredging on the project by about 50% because it sits on a barge that's bigger than a football field. It has a fairly shallow draft. They did not have to dredge as deep to make room for this equipment as some of the other proposers had in their presentations and bids for this project. So there are a lot of reasons that this crane right behind us is helping us to do this project faster, less expensive, and in a more environmentally sensitive way.